Lady and gentlemen, boys and girl, welcome to the BDMMA channel, where we offer popcorn and other entertainment like high-level martial arts, for example. Welcome to our third installment of the Khabib versus Tony Ferguson preview. I don't know how many parts this will be because I don't know how many subjects I want to cover. There are so many. This one is going to be based on Tony's funky and dangerous guard play. Certainly one of the most important elements of the game to be expected in the upcoming fight. So let's start with up kicks. Not only their danger from Tony, but their accuracy. And we're going to slow it down a little bit, but look at how flexible he is with his long limbs. And what I want you to take away from this too is how hard your heels are and how non-sensitive, I guess, for lack of a better term, they are as well. There it is, bang. That is very similar to an axe kick, and not just for the obvious reason that it looks the same technically, but same efficacy as well. Axe kicks are dangerous. This is just savagery. So after this lands, you can see knees completely go away from him, and those punches are chin clacking to the canvas. Another thing that Tony likes to do besides up kicks, and this is kind of like an open guard thing or closed guard thing you can do, is he does these kind of equilibrium like palm strikes to the ear and or temple, and he does them hard, or hammer fists in cases like this against Barboza. This is post that Eminari roll, which I'll cover a little just briefly later. I've covered that in the past, so I don't want to overdo it. Tony's a savage, so here's some actual guard play from him. You'll notice two things. One, he has really what seem like sticky hands, but from what I hear from Josh Thompson, I think he has large hands too. So with that in mind, add to that long limbs and strikes kind of meeting every advancement. There's always like a usage of butterfly hook too. They all contribute to Tony creating space, dominating distance, or dictating distance, however you like to word it. But you'll see here, he's got wrist control, he's pushing on the shoulder, single butterfly, keeps switching over to kind of like a crazy legs into a mission control. There's just a distance thing that he's very good at. Wonderful cage usage here. This is from half guard. It's kind of like a pendulum sweep. It's tough to name sweeps. I mean, they're not even wearing gis, and it's using a cage as a fulcrum. That's pretty important. Beautiful stuff into a whizzer, right into mount sequitur, which is beautiful. Some of this I sped up just for the sake of the video, but again, he'll attack legs from the bottom as well. This is post takedown. Pay attention to the immediate high guard via mission control, and then he kind of doubles up. There's that high ceiling of a guard where the feet cross again after mission control. I don't know the name of this. I'm not 10th planet versed completely. I know some of the terms from friends that are. But he again goes right after the heel there, and this is just insane use of length. His heel's straight to the armpit there, defending any strike from, I think that's Abel Trujillo, who's a POS in my opinion, but it's defending from strikes and creating the distance that he ultimately wants, and that was nice defense to slip that kind of sloppy hook there. It's a beautiful hip shift toward the camera and subsequent crucifix style kind of omoplata attack here. See this right there? And he kind of goes for like a Turk type thing, but it didn't completely work. But it's the idea. It's not, it's not the move within itself. So another thing he does very well is elbow strikes, of course, which if I'm Khabib or a Khabib fan, I'm most worried about. It's just something he does very well. He tends to cut very well with them too. And it's not just from striking positions and traditional type, this single butterfly right there. And again, see the deep single butterfly hook guard? It separates well using that as like a push out along with your hands. But then as they come forward every time, you're using that momentum to kind of meet. It's irresistible force, immovable object type thing. But I'm fairly certain this is what Eddie Bravo had in mind many moons ago. Elbows locked in with elbows from a locked-in triangle, rather. And even like when he was demonstrating to Hickson in that little picture I included in part 2, it was the same thing. He was showing how you can elbow from that position. So here's some of the aforementioned applied. His large hands create the wrist control, single butterfly hook on the left, and posturing right heel to hip on the right. This against Pettis is pretty recent. And he has so many options there with that single butterfly to raise and lift. The heel on the hip can also create space, etc., etc. Aptly named El Cucuy the Elusive Monster fights just like the legend would. kind of like a chupacabra, very elusive and unpredictable, unabashed. It's very unpredictable, to just use one word, but from his funky Granby rolls to escape, that's against Josh Thompson, who I just brought up. Like there was an attempted standing switch into a Granby, into an attempted knee bar, which he'll do from Imanari as well. This is a nice intercepting knee into that standing Granby roll. That's beautiful stuff. And again, that's the Josh Thompson one, just slow it down. But there's a caution to the wind approach to creating these chaotic type scrambles. And his control of distance on the ground is it's just flat out impressive. And this is pre-Reebok days. If you look at that, that's just very frenetic, although he seems in control. Willing to go inverted amidst attacks, etc., etc. Those are things that you don't normally see against Barboza, who was already sliced up, and he just keeps dinging him up from the bottom there. And again, there's that cross knee bar that he uses like a single butterfly, but it's a little bit different, but it's hard to explain the tweak in real time. Another kind of inversion / Imanari roll attempt there. And from here, he went for wrist control. We didn't get much. There's the standing Imanari against Barboza. Barboza knew to figure for his legs as defense, which is how you defend from the knee bar there. After being mounted in the first round against Kevin Lee, and this is certainly important to cover. Tony definitely changed the tides as the takedown attempts started to fade from Lee. And although some were completed, of course, this is a beautiful use of a whizzer / overhook. Tony did wrestle, not Olympic level, NCAA champ level or anything of the sort, but he can grapple from anywhere really. But off his back, he seems to be most dangerous. It's my ring, you don't want much. Kevin looked a little broken there to me. I don't know. That's kind of up for debate. Did have staff, etc. I guess I normally wouldn't mention that, but it's necessary in this predicament. So Kevin's an explosive athlete, there is no question, but after he picks him up, expends all that energy that he's losing right into butterfly hooks. There's an elevate to disengage thing here, way far out, and again, those are strong and long limbs, and this distance, dictation and or his funky square bladed hip dancing, it all comes into play. He was taken down, of course, and they're great takedowns by Lee, and it's the elbows. It's how he's hurting him when he is there. So after successfully taking him down, mounting him in the first round, Tony posts his elbow to then scoot his hips back and then throw elbow. And this is what he does. He's always on the ground creating space in order to then throw the elbow. So as he advances, he's getting met with an elbow simultaneously. So the sharp elbows are causing him to bring his right arm up and into play defense, essentially. That's going to allow El Cucuy to trap and amidst that angle his hips out for like an arm bar. And that's exactly what he does here. So that left, boom, boom, one more time. As he's got the collar tie on, now he traps the wrist. Legs go up, feet cross, extend out, belly down. Well, you'd want to anyway. From here, Ferguson will cross feet, go belly down. Kevin ended up doing a reverse hitchhiker kind of escape. You turn your thumb toward that way so you don't feel the pressure from the armbar completely, and you kind of step over. But submissions will be next video, part 4. I got to do these one at a time. There's just so much to cover when it comes to Ferguson versus Khabib. But yeah, I wanted to go over these elbows again. If you notice, one of the most important things, and he's got big hands, big feet, his elbows do damage because his feet are on hips constantly, and he's constantly moving said hips. And if he's not trying to set up a submission like a Darce triangle, armbar, something like that, he's always catching his arm for mission control. Like, see right there, that was an attempted left hand from Lee that he intercepted to then put his leg over to go into a triangle. But we'll cover in part 4, okay? His submissions certainly warrant their own breakdown by themselves, so they'll come after this. If you appreciate my work, of course, thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell, tell your girlfriend, whatever it takes. But be sure to share. The more that see this, the merrier. And I'm just going to keep them coming if you keep on sharing and liking and telling me how handsome I am. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Make sure to check out my Patreon account if you want to support my work. That'd be lovely. And again, thank you. Cheers.